Alright, so now I've loaded up a brand new copy of the world, never taunted with. Let's go over the stuff. So first of all, I want to go over basically this thing right here. That tune that you were hearing in between everything, I was planning on changing it to this. Now this is a remix of the Fat Rat. And I give full credit to this design to Ethos Lab. Basically copied it all from Ethos Lab, but full credit to him. So yeah, let's do this. And later I'm going to go into this world and I'm going to show you something. And it may also come out on my Crystallize channel. Keep and watch that, but let's go into the actual map. Alright, so to start off the map we have basically the Bare Root Essentials. So right off the bat we have, as you can see, there was an end chest in there, and in that end chest was a book, basically a rule book that would basically explain everything. And here we have basically the chest with all the stuff in it, with all the stuff, and yeah. So when I placed a redstone torch in it that was labeled key, you've seen that it dispensed. That's because back here we have, so here's the chest with the key thing. The key would go into here, go into this thing, turn on this comparator, which will send a signal through this repeater, which will send a signal up the staircase. And since these glowstone blocks are invisible blocks, or air blocks kind of, the redstone signal will travel through them, and it will also start branching off into this comparator, which, as some of you may know, will start sending a clock around here, which will start dispensing all of these things on here, labeled Who's Craft, onto said player. Then, at the same time that this is going on, it will send a signal all the way over here, turning off this redstone torch, which will turn off this sticky piston holding a redstone block, which will start filtering all 16 of these items. This is what is called a hopper clock. Basically what happens is that normally you would have this go back and forth, and it would start filtering between everyone, enabling and disabling certain things. So when all 16 items has flown into here, it'll send a signal all the way over here, pushing this piston, deactivating this piston, setting a signal all the way over here, which will send a signal all the way over here, send a signal down here, which will also turn off this redstone torch, which will turn off this piston, which will pull down this block, destroying this repeater. So here is the garbage can. So when you throw stuff into the garbage can, it will then filter down here, go down here, go into this dropper here, which is basically going to drop items, and since its comparator detects items in blocks, it'll send a signal to this repeater, which will send a full signal through this redstone, which go around here, start a clock, which is going to head down here, and destroy items at an extremely fast rate. Like if we were to grab a stack of stone, throw it into here, you would see that it'll start destroying at a really quick rate, as you can see. And yeah, that basically is the garbage. So now let's move on to the start. So when you hit the button over here, it will then, actually let's head over to the lobby and let's show you the do not push the red button thing. So here's the red button. It will send a signal over here, powering this dropper here, which will send the sword through this dropper into this hopper, into this chest, which will send a signal through this comparator over here, all the way over here, all the way up here, through this redstone repeater, send a signal into this door, but at the same time it will send a signal down here, through this repeater, and also into this door. And at the same time that is happening, it is also sending a signal all the way down here, all the way around, down here, and into the TNT, blowing everything up. Now let's go into startup. As you can see, inside here you can see a ton of tripwires in here. That is because that detects when the player has died and respawned over here. So when they respawn, they trip off one of these, which basically sends a signal turning off this redstone torch. So basically it's going to turn off this redstone torch, turning off this redstone here, turning on this redstone torch, turning on this redstone signal, turning off this redstone torch, turning off this redstone, turning on this redstone torch, turning on all this redstone here, which will also turn, which then indeed will turn on, which will turn off this redstone torch, which will bring the signal all the way down here. Now this is a little default, just so people, since you will trip over the tripwire when you first spawn, I don't want this to completely break everything, so I have a double thing, which I'll explain in a moment. So we have this going over here, and let's say that this redstone block is in here. I'll go over here, go over here, go over here, go around here, go around here, turning off this redstone repeater, turning off this redstone torch, going up here, and deactivating this piston. Now I will talk to you later about that, but yeah, keep in mind. Alright, so let's move on to, I'm pretty sure it is the startup of the map. Alright, so back here we have the startup. So basically, you would push the button, it would send a signal all the way through here, to this repeater, which will send a signal all the way up here, to these two repeaters. This repeater would branch off over here, which I'll talk to you later about, and this repeater will send a signal down here, branching off into these repeaters, turning off this repeater, turning off this repeater, turning on this piston, which will push this normal piston, pushing this block up and blocking that. At the same time, these torches will then turn off, unextending these two pistons, destroying the sign and the button, and then pushing them back to block it all off. Now let's go on to the normal branching. Alright, so off of this branch, it goes over here, goes around here, and then goes into here, into the normal blocking system. You'll send this block down into this dropper, which will send a signal, which will send it all the way down into this hopper, which will send it into this chest, which will turn on the comparator, sending a redstone signal all the way through these repeaters, sending it all the way up here, sending it all the way up here, sending it all the way through here, turning off this redstone torch, turning off all this redstone here, unextending the pistons down there, dropping the sand, and then this redstone will turn off, turning off this redstone repeater, turning off all these redstone, which will then unextend all these pistons, pushing all of the pistons that have been unextended all the way back up, out of the way. So now, like, I'll show you. So I'm going to destroy all this, like so. Alright, so now that that is destroyed, we're going to send a signal all the way up here, which is going to unextend all these. And as you can see, the block has been pushed over here, which will then let the sand fall down and block your way. But if it's unextended, then this is what it would look like. It just looks like a normal, like, everyday, like, thing, and since there's sand there, it will be blocking that. But yeah, that's basically that. Alright, so next up on oh. That is not good, that is not good. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. Okay, good. Whew. Okay, whew, okay. Got a little worried there. Gonna tell a lie there, but no, man. Worried me a bit. Are we good? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're good. Alright, so let's move on to the next thing. So it's going to send a signal all the way up here, turning off this redstone, turning off this redstone torch, both these redstone torches, which will send a signal all the way up here, all the way up here, and let's move on to this branch. It'll turn on this redstone repeater, which is going to send a signal all the way up here, all the way up here, all the way up here, deactivating this this piston right here, which will deactivate that piston forever. And then at the same time, it's going to head up here. It's going to head up here and then branch off into this repeater over here. It'll start letting this chest filter through and into this chest, which will basically start up your timer. Now it's for the second branch. So as you can see, there is a second branch onto this, that's going to send a signal all the way through here. And by the way, this is completely perfectly timed. It's going to send a signal all the way down here, through this note block, through this note block, through this note block, and then finally through this note block, which is going to send a signal, turning off, activating this dropper, which is going to send a signal through here. And since this hopper sucks, it will then go through this chest, turning on this comparator, which will turn on this redstone, turning on this comparator, sending a clock through, which will send a signal all the way through here. And also, this is also, I want to give credit to this design also to Etho, which will send a signal through these randomizers, and you see the diamond sword? This diamond sword, when this goes into the hopper, this comparator is going to take it 3 signals into this comparator, into this redstone repeater, and into this block, and turn on the note block. But when any other block, it's just going to go through one block, and maybe power these ones. And that carries on to the rest of them. At the same time, there's going to be a redstone signal carrying all the way up here, all the way up to here, going around here, going into a monostable circuit, and only triggering this thing once, which will then send a clock all the way through here, triggering all of these dispensers here, completely filled with fire charges, to shoot at the logs, burning them and slowly letting the sand fall.